Greetings and welcome to the DollHouse. Doing a little renovating, you might say. But in any event, tonight we look at the chronicles of one Freddy Krueger. Tonight's review, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. Not the worst Nightmare on Elm Street ever made. Even though there are probably a lot of people that will disagree with me on that one. In fact, I'm not really sure there is a worst. If we're going to get delving into the worst of the Freddy Krueger series or character or whatever, the TV show didn't have enough of him, in my opinion. But that's another story. Anyway, on to tonight's review. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Kind of one of the more lower budget films. This was still an 80s slasher character that was coming around. Wes Craven, fresh off the success of the first one. Didn't direct this one though. It was another director. And this director, if you look at the review at the end of the digitally remastered Nightmare on Elm Street 2 video, or DVD, you'll get an interview with the director. And in my opinion, the director was a little out there. But, yeah, that's maybe just my thought process on the whole thing. Let's see, in any event, the movie itself doesn't really have any big names in terms of actors, except for Robert Englund, who plays Freddy, of course. And aside from that, it's basically, let's see, this kid named Jesse and his family, they move into Nancy Thompson's old place, where a lot of the murders, or a few of them had taken place. So, let's see, they move into this new place. He starts experiencing the dreams, I should say the old place. He starts experiencing the nightmares. The really good part about the nightmare sequences is the special effects and the cinematography in that one were great. I mean, no one's going to forget the scene with the bus suspended in midair with over the two pieces of the cliff that are crumbling. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good way to start the sequel. But aside from that, it's the dream sequences are decent. The Freddy does a few one-liners in this one, but not as many as the ones to come. But the actors are just meh. They're decent, but it's not like they were. It's not like they were heading for stardom, I guess, basically. But aside from that, it's a Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, and everyone's always going to say, well, the sequels are not as good as the original. And in some cases, they're probably right. But in this case, they're only half right, because there's a lot of good special effects. There's a decent scene with the pool party, and of course, everyone is everyone is panicking as Freddy comes out, and Freddy takes possession of Jesse at one point, and there's a scene with a tongue that got a lot of press, thanks in part to the director's interview. There's a scene with the tongue, and there's a scene where Freddy and Jesse are basically fighting over possession of Jesse's body, to the point where he's trying to get his girlfriend at the time, Lisa, to kill him. And from there on, it gets to a very surreal moment where she follows Freddy to the old boiler room, and there's that one scene with dogs with the human faces that was kind of weird. I think it was also in the commercial too, in the trailer, or at least one of them I saw back in the 80s. That was a pretty surreal moment. Story-wise, it's it's basic run-of-the-mill Freddy Krueger mythos. Nancy Thompson's not in this. She's only mentioned in this. She won't make an appearance next until Nightmare on Elm Street 3, which I'll be reviewing that in a few more days or so to come. But getting back to the film itself, Nightmare 2, there are some good supporting characters. I think the only other actor I can think of in that film that might have went on to other movies would be the gym teacher, who I think played the SWAT team leader in the movie Airheads. I think that's the same guy. I'm not sure. In any event, he gets pretty much sliced to bits in terms of a kind of a disturbing scene where he was hanging out at certain clubs. I won't spoil that for anyone who hasn't seen it, but let's just say I wouldn't be surprised if Clive Barker was watching that scene and thought of maybe, maybe I can do something with this, i.e. the Cenobites. But, that's maybe just a parallel, on speculation on my part, of course. In any event, this has been A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, a title that was tacked on at the last moment, supposedly. To say the very least, it was a decent film. It's, like I said, people are going to say, oh, this is probably the worst of the Freddy series. No. I'm not really sure there was a worst. But it didn't help when Freddy started rapping. But that's for another story altogether. Anyway, until such time, when next we meet, I will be reviewing A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Until then, the dollhouse is closed for now.